We are a mass of different personalities. Every single person on earth has lots of personalities, including me and including you. These are known as ego states, parts, or subpersonalities. In fact, we are not just one person, we are all committees of different personalities. And this is completely normal, and it's completely healthy to be like this. Don't for one moment mistake this for what they used to call multiple personality disorder or dissociative identity disorder. That's a different thing. But normal, healthy adults have different personalities, and guess what? They are for different tasks. And only one of them is running the show at any given time. And we say that that personality becomes executive. Now, to be executive, what that means is that personality, which is hardwired into your brain, connects to your prefrontal cortex, I believe, and that is the one that is running the show. And a stronger ego state can push out the one that's there, but only one can be executive at a time, which is why Dr. Gordon Emmerson says we are digital human beings. We're not a bit of this and a bit of that. We're either this or this or this or this. One of our ego states will be executive. Now, you have maybe 50 to 150 different ego states that were all formed in your childhood to deal with different challenges and things you had to do. But we typically use the same 5 to 15 ego states every day. This is the 80-20 rule. The 20% of our ego states will be used 80% of the time, Pareto's principle. And the best way to understand this is something called the Bungalow Model. Imagine a bungalow. One story, single story house with one door, a front door that leads to the outside world. And in that bungalow, there's also a basement down below, which is a recreation room. It's North American style, where we have our, TV and stereo and things like that. And off to the side of this recreation room, there's a bomb shelter to protect everybody. So let's see how this works. The top floor of the bungalow is where the 5 to 15 typical ego states that you work with in your day-to-day life, that's where they hang out. And one of them will answer the door at any given moment to the outside world, and that is the ego state that is executive. And it will be the one best for that job, whatever it is. If you're teaching a martial arts class, or you're cooking a meal, or you're taking a dog for a walk, there's an ego state that you have that'll be the best one, and that'll be the one answering the door. Now, down in the basement, in this rec room, are the rest of the ego states, and they can come up to the main floor and answer the door periodically, but they don't typically do so. They hang out together down there, and they generally do okay. But there's the bomb shelter off to the side, and these are the ego states that are wounded by fear, anger, sadness, trauma, bad things that have happened, and they need to be healed. They hide in this bomb shelter because they need to be protected. And what good therapy does is it brings them out of the bomb shelter, up to the executive, and heals the pain and the turmoil that they're going through or have gone through. So realize you have different ego states for whatever job you're doing. Make sure that what you're doing is appropriate with the ego state that's executive. For example, if I'm doing dishes, which I don't like doing, if I'm doing dishes, I don't want a martial arts ego state to be executive that teaches jiu-jitsu. I don't want one executive that plays with my Egyptian Mao cat. I want one that doesn't mind the vagueness and zone outness of just doing dishes. One that would like that. In fact, they want to do jobs for you. The key is you must have an ego state executive that likes the job that it's doing. So how do you change ego states? Here's your lesson. You can shake them off. So let's say you just had a fender bender in the street and a really aggressive ego state came up and took the executive because the person who ran into you was an idiot. And you got into a shouting match and you're going away from it now. The work is all done and you're heading home. You don't want to show up at your house in that aggressive ego state, which will stay executive for a long time if you're not careful. So you get out of your car, shake it off, move your body, breathe, and think, what ego state do I want executive? What's the word? I want to be happy. Okay, I will go in a happy ego state, and you will essentially call that one to the executive and leave the other one to sort of deal with the stuff with the car accident. So realize you're switching ego states all the time. They talk differently from each other. They sound different. They have different mannerisms, and you can choose the one you want to be in a lot of the time. For more information on this, if you want to know how to use ego states in therapy, check out Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy, MMHA, in the description.